Hi YouTube, 1095 Workhorse here with a topic to talk about. This is not necessarily a knife review, just a topic to kick around that I've heard a few things on YouTube about, and also from fellow knife people, survivalists, and things of that nature, and what have you, on whether it is a good idea to baton a folder knife, or to be Shakespearean. I think it's Shakespearean about it. To baton or not to baton? To baton. Hey, say that 3 times fast. Now that is the question. Whether it is wise to baton and beat the living daylights out of a folder knife with a chunk of wood to get your butt out of a situation in a survival situation, or not to baton and just process wood maybe mildly with a folder knife in hopes that it doesn't break. Now if you take a look at a folder knife, any folder knife, you're relying solely, as you do any kind of batoning on a knife, on this pin right here. This is taking all the shock, all the pressure, all the abuse that this piece of wood is swinging at it. You know, let's say you're trying to process a log, yay big, and you're just doing this for as long as it takes to process firewood, to process anything to provide you with cover and safety from wind and the elements and such. Whatever you need to process wood with, you're relying on this pin right here to do the job. I personally don't think I would want to do that, because you're risking busting this pin, and if the quality of your blade and the whole folder isn't like hugely high standard, you're risking busting the whole thing up, and then you've lost your survival tool, an essential survival tool. So my thought is, hopefully you've brought along a fixed blade and your folder is just a secondary backup. And you can beat the living tar out of your fixed blade full tang knife and not have to worry about that kind of thing. Now here's my other thought is, now I've seen, this is a cold steel knife. I've seen, and it's a cold steel Voyager, just to show you that. Now I know cold steel shows all this abuse that they give to their knives. They're putting tons of weight on their lockback system. I've forgotten what their specific name to their system is, and they've done it to the all kinds of different knives that have this particular system. And I even think they do it with the Axis. I think it's called an Axis system. And that's fine and dandy. So my thought is, if they're doing all this abuse to this particular knife, what is their warranty? Because they show, I do believe, on their Raja knife, and some of their demonstrations, they're showing somebody batoning through a piece of wood, with a piece of wood, obviously. And so I'm thinking, okay, now are they saying all their knives can take that kind of abuse and they will warranty it? So if you're out there camping and you decide, oh, it's a cold steel knife, it takes a lot of abuse, probably lifetime warranty, whatever their warranty is. Okay, I'm gonna baton this chunk of wood with this chunk of wood. If you do that, and for whatever reason, maybe slip through quality control, or pick your poison of what could happen, your pivot point in this pin snaps, Or maybe your casing breaks and that loosens everything else up and you have nothing to hold on to in your handle. Are they going to warranty that? Or will you be dead if you're in a survival situation? Will you be rescued before you even have to use your broken knife again, if you can? So, I don't know. So I guess this is my take on the whole thing, is that, number one, if you have a folder knife that you think you're going to go beating on and baton and abuse the living daylights out of it, find out from the company if they warranty that. If they say, yeah, dude, just go for it. Just beat the living daylights out, beat the crap out of it. Yeah, we'll warranty it, and we believe it will hold up to those level of abuse. If you do that, and they say that to you, you're golden. You know, who am I to tell you not to beat the living daylights out of it? It's, you know, your knife, your situation, your survival. Which is probably the bottom line to this whole conversation, maybe. I don't know. I'd like to hear the feedback on it. I know Buck Knives has their warranty is like forever. Okay, so does that mean you could take their knives and beat the living crap out of them and they'll survive and voila, you're good? I don't know. You'd have to call Buck and say, hey, I'm intending to do this method with this folder knife. Is it covered? You know, what's the deal? Call Cold Steel. Hey, you know, I'm going to beat the living daylights out of your Voyager knife and baton it. I know, I saw it in your video. Is that covered? If they say, yeah, all our knives are covered like that, we have a winner. Hey, they're golden, man. I'd be buying Cold Steel knives like there's no tomorrow, or Buck Knives, or whoever makes that claim that you can baton the living crap out of these things and they'll survive. Once again, me, probably not so much. I would probably prefer to not stake my life on a folder. I have a brother who tends to believe that if you do a baton, that you don't baton in the fixed position of the blade. I know, like Cold Steel on some of their knives, or all the knives that are locked back, they say, well, it's just like a fixed blade. Well, I don't think it's just like a fixed blade, but okay. He claims that if you unlock your knife and do that, and then place your knife on whatever piece of wood you're going to be batoning, that will eliminate, well, it even has some play in it. See, I mean, look at that, it has play in my knife. You start batoning unless you have the tool to take out that play, because that's definitely going to loosen up when you baton. Hey, could be a case in point right there. That, anyways, I'm sorry, that if you start batoning on your knife and it's in this position, that you will be less likely to stress out everything else, and you'll be fine. I don't know about that. Because to me, if you're doing this, you're putting just as much shock on your pivot point as if it were locked position. So I don't know. I guess you make the call. Throw up some commentary down below. See, tell me what you think about it. Personally, I'll go with a fixed blade any day of the week, full tang, and the full tang has to be shown visible, not a rat tail tang. I know K-bar, your USMC knife, probably can take a little bit more abuse than most. It survived. I said on my very first video, that's kind of the workhorse poster child for knives, because it survived. It's been through many wars and it is still being utilized today by different military outfits and companies across the world and the nations and whatever. Hey, great. Personally, I'd rather see the tang, knowing that you have a full chunk of metal that is working for you, and it's less likely to give out on you and break and fatigue and you run into problems. Case in point, I bought a Elkridge knife. It was a Bowie or Bowie styled, once again depending on how you want to pronounce it. And took it outside, and I didn't baton it. I didn't throw it up against a tree. All I did was pretend this is my Bowie knife, and this is a gigantic tree. I know it's not. All I did was come in like to the side here and try to stick it into my piece of wood, and snapped right at this point here. And as I noticed as I looked at it, and I'll actually do a review on this particular knife later. I don't own it anymore, but just to talk about it, as I am a little bit now, it snapped. And as you opened it up, you can see that it wasn't even a good rat tail. It was just poorly made. And I saw one other reviewer saying, "Oh, I'd bet my life on this. I'd go out into the woods, and if I had to go deep into the woods and back and survive, this is the knife I'd take." Well, more power to you. Hope you make it. I wouldn't take it. I know I would take it out, use it maybe a couple times, and snap, it'd be gone. And you can call that the end of that. So be careful of what you use when you take out into the backwoods and try to survive with. To baton or not to baton, a folder knife. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear them and hear your take on them. I know there are people who, I'm sure there are many people out there who are hunters and better woodsmen than I am. I live in Southern California, not a whole lot of woodsmen going on out here in the suburbs. So anyways, thank you much. Have a good day. I hope you subscribe to my channel and make your comments down below. Thank you much. I'm out.